Welcome to Afya Fix, and we are so delighted that you always find time to be here with us. We have Dr. Eddie Ramirez as our guest today. Dr. Eddie comes to us from the Pennsylvania state in the United States of America, where he is the Health Ministries Director in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and he is also a lifestyle medicine doctor. He is a researcher and an author. We have a live audience who are going to be part of our show today. I'm your host, Gladys Ombongi, and karibuni sana. Today we want to just have an opportunity to delve into the communities that we live into, and we would like to walk through the journey of Dr. Eddie to tell us how we can be part of a process of transforming the communities where we live. And we would like to hear more from him, how he has played that role and how you can also take your position and transform the communities that you are associated with. And I'd like to start by asking Dr. Eddie, how did this journey begin for you? How did you all start?
Yeah, so the way that I got myself into lifestyle medicine, I never thought about, I was going to end up like that. I was in my last semester of medical school, of my first career, which was computer science. And my friends started running, so then I started running with them. But it ended up being that I was always the last place among them. Yes. So I said, that's not right. I need to do something to improve my times. So what I did, I went to the library to read what do people that win the race do. And that's when I found out that, many of these Kenyans and Ethiopians and so forth that are winning the long races are on a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to try it. Let's see what happens. If I switch my diet, let's see what happens. And sure enough, my time started improving to the point that I actually started getting some first places in my town. And not only that, it was my best semester in my bachelor's degree. All my notes, they were top notes. I could see how my mind was starting to change, secondary to changing the diet. And once I finished my bachelor's degree, in front of my university, there was a place that offered master's degree in computer science. So I went ahead and applied. And they liked my profile, and they gave me a full scholarship to study that. But while I was waiting to start that master's degree program, I went to visit a brother of mine in Southern California. He was working in a lifestyle center. He was studying and working there. And when I got there, for a weekend I was supposed to be there only, the doctor in charge of the institution heard that I knew about computers, and he was like, hey, can you help us, this weekend? I have many computer problems, and I don't have anybody that knows about computers. And I said, sure. So in 1 week, and I fixed most of his computer problems. And he was so impressed, he offered me a job on the spot. And to me, it was very confusing, I'm supposed to start my master's degree program. He is asking me to stay there and join his staff. What am I going to do? Which route I'm going to take? So after thinking and praying about it, I decided to stay there in that lifestyle center. And my life changed.
So you started by studying a degree in computer science.
That's right.
That was your basic training. And you were here in the middle of a journey to a higher level, of course,
yes.
Computing. In computer science, and now you're in a lifestyle center. What kind of experience did you have there that may have transformed what maybe brought you here, because you're a lifestyle medicine doctor today?
So, as I'm working there and I'm seeing the transformation that is taking place in those patients. I mean, I saw diabetes being, cured, hypertension, people with severe autoimmune conditions, stroke patients improving, and all kinds of problems. I said to myself, you know what? Computers are nice, but this is what I need to do with my life. And that's when the desire to go into medical school came up.
So while you were there, these stories, seeing the changes, you decide, okay, I'll go to medical school. Was it an easy decision for you to make?
Yeah, I think it was a very logical decision. I'm a very logical person, you know. I thought, you know, if I want to help these people, you know,
Yes.
I better, you know, get the tools and so forth. I got, you know, multiple opportunities to start, you know, seeing lifestyle medicine from different angles. I work in the Black Hills. That's where they have the faces of the presidents in the mountains. You've seen in, you know, postals and these type of things. There's a lifestyle center next door there that I was working with. I also work in Hawaii. We're doing lifestyle programs there. And I also worked many years in Norway. That's why I speak Norwegian, because I used to live there. And also, I work in Oklahoma. We're doing some depression programs there. And also, I work in California in a place called Weimar Institute. And yeah, you see the different ways, you know, that you can apply the lifestyle medicine principles in those type of settings.
Thank you. Because I know you like to do research. When you're in medical school, did you have an opportunity to do some research? Because you are a researcher. We have many doctors who treat, but they don't go ahead to spend a lot of their time doing research. And
Yes.
you are one of those researchers that I really enjoy reading your articles. Would you tell us more about that?
Yes, so when I was in my fourth semester of medical school, in order to go into your fifth semester of clinical rotations, you had to do a research project. And you know, I have worked, you know, in some of these lifestyle centers previously, so I've seen, you know, how the power of lifestyle medicine. And they assigned me an advisor. So I went and talked to them, my advisor, and I told him, look, what I want to do for my research project, I want to lower the cholesterol of people with diet. And he told me, Ramirez, you know, cholesterol doesn't come down with diet. You need medication, you know.
Yes.
I told him, look, it's my money, the one that is sponsoring this. I'm going to do it, you know, because it's my money. And so then the way that we did this, we took 31 people that wanted to make lifestyle changes, and we put them, you know, on the plant-based diet, stop caffeine, put them to do exercise, put them to go to bed early, and so forth. And we were measuring blood samples before the intervention, and then 2 weeks later, we took again blood samples to see what was happening. And I can tell you, every single one of those patients, the cholesterol came down.
Wow.
In fact, the higher the cholesterol, the more it came down. There was one of them that actually his cholesterol came down 250 points in 2 weeks.
That's big.
Okay, that's a big change in a matter of 2 weeks. And apart, you know, from the cholesterol, we were asking them, you know, how are you doing, you know, mental-wise, you know, with your depression, your relationships, and all these different aspects. Every single one of them gave positive markers. In fact, you can find my study. If you can see it there in the screen, the one that says Community Educational Program Decreased Total Cholesterol for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. And yeah, this later on I was able to publish this data on a peer review journal, showing there, you know, with a little more detail about what we were doing and some of the details on the results. And in parentheses, if you want to, you know, find that research, just go to my ResearchGate page. You can see it there on the screen. Francisco Ramirez ResearchGate. Google in those 3 words. That'll take you to my ResearchGate page. And I just search there for my cholesterol papers. I have many, actually. This is not the only one. And in that way, you know, you can learn, you know, what type of things you can do to improve your health.
Wow. Now, tell us a little more about your involvement with communities. I know you love working with communities.
That's right.
Did you have a chance to do this?
Yes. So an interesting thing came when I was in my 4th semester, actually, the same time that I was doing this research. And what we were doing, we were having a very high load of classes, and some of them very difficult ones. So some of the conference leaders came they organize a little group of students, and they chose me to be, one of their leaders. And usually those groups of students in other towns that were doing it, and they were just became like a social type of club and things like this. And I'm not against having together some time, but I believe that you can do even much better. So what I did, I talked to the team and challenged them and told them, look, why don't we plant a church? There was an area that there was no church there, so the students went there to help plant that church, and it was very nice. As the students, when you're busy serving others, God blesses you.
Yes,
and we were able to run, different health programs such as health expos and so forth. And yeah, people, got to know the Lord and gave their hearts and so forth. And it was a fantastic experience. When you apply these health principles, you can improve, the health of a community in that way. And not only that, as I mentioned to you, it was a very difficult semester. And there were especially two subjects that were very, very difficult. Yet, interesting, even though I was quite involved with this project, because I was the leader of that team, by the end of the semester, God blessed me, and I was actually able to skip the final test for those two very difficult subjects. And in fact, one of those, the students that did the final, they actually, 1/3 of them only passed that final test. 2/3 of them, failed the test, So yeah, that was a big blessing that I got, to be able to have good scores, to be able to skip that final test.
Wow. So did this enhance, because I'm seeing you had a very busy schedule when you were a medical student.
That's right.
You had a lot of community work. How did you cope? Is this the high exams, passing highly, that helped you cope with the requirements for med school?
That's right. Yeah, it became a blessing. The fact that, when you are putting God in the first place, God is going to bless you, Many times we think about, that we know everything, and we don't know everything, For example, there was an interesting experience that I had. We were in the sociology class, and they were going to talk about the theory of evolution the next class. So they assigned that class to one of the students. One of the students was supposed to, share that information. So this student, he was irresponsible, so he didn't prepare his class. And the next day, I knew that, it was going to get interesting, the discussion, so I started preparing some of my material, for the discussion. And the next day, the student starts giving his class, and because he didn't prepare the class, after 10 minutes, he ran out of things to say.
Yes.
And the classroom, was just silent. And the silence was broke by me. I said, teacher, could I continue with the class? And the teacher was very happy, that somebody took initiative. And I have a lot of material on the subject because I'm very passionate about it. And I put in my computer there. And I was sharing, for example, the view of Darwin of black people was not nice. For example, you can see in the screen a citation from one of his books. He's saying there that gorillas, people from Africa, and the Aboriginals from Australia are at the same level. That is wrong to say, that is not correct, that is not even scientific, Why they're teaching this type of theories, in Africa, I don't know, because they go exactly against, the roots of these communities, We're all in the same level, Somebody from Africa is as intelligent as somebody from Asia or somebody from Europe and so forth, We have the same ability, God created us the same. So I was sharing during that class, for example, you can see in the screen this Haeckel embryos, You know, this is, if you open any biology book, you're going to see those embryos. And they're actually false. This guy that made those, it was drawings, he was found to be faking those drawings. That's not the way that those embryos look like. Okay? Why are they still in the textbooks? I don't know. I don't make those textbooks, you know, but what I know is that you shouldn't be putting them there because they're false. It's false information. Another thing that we're talking about is Lucy, the Australopithecus, the famous fossil they found in Ethiopia. I actually went to a museum in Frankfurt, Germany. They had the original there. And that thing is a monkey. That thing is not a human. It's this size. You know, humans are not this size, okay? But you can see in the screen there, the one that says Lucy, they put the face like a human face so they can make it like that. That's not the way the face this monkey had, you know. It was just, you know, these rough features that the monkeys had, you know. So yeah, don't let you deceive you, you know, with that. And another one that I was talking about, you can see there the head of the monkey on the screen. When you compare the cranium, the bone, you know, of the head of the human and the cranium of the monkey, we are too different. We're not similar. You know, the monkey has a big brow. We have more of a refined brow. Our brain is big because we're intelligent. It's big, the brain of the human. The brain of the monkey is small. The teeth of the monkey is, you know, very rough to break things and so forth. Our teeth are refined. The angle of our face is different. The jaw bone, you know, they need to have a very strong jaw to break things with their mouth and so forth. Ours is refined and so forth. So when they put supposedly the progression of how the monkeys became humans, that's a lie. Either they are human or they are monkey. There's nothing in between. We are too different from one to another. So don't let them deceive you, you know. So yeah, by the end of the class, you know, everybody was so happy, you know. And I know that some of the students actually changed their worldview, you know, once they saw the evidence from the other side of the coin.
Wow. You must have been really enjoying your medical school. How did you manage to finish the studies and eventually maybe some of the, I've seen a club that you began, a diabetes club. You can also mention that. Yeah,
well, by the end of the classes, actually, the Lord blessed me. And even though I was the oldest of the students, I actually graduated first place in my class. And, you know, they invited me to give, you know, the speech there in the graduation. And what I told them during my graduation, I'm not supposed to be here, you know. You guys know I told them that I keep, you know, the Sabbath. I study one day less than you guys, you know. This was a private university. I told them, your parents pay for your studies. I pay for mine, you know. So every time I have vacation, I have to go and work, you know, in order to pay for my classes. And yet, you know, I'm here, you know, and told them, I'm going to give you the secret. It's found on a book of Daniel, you know. And if you read the book of Daniel, you will see the secret, you know. When Daniel, you know, make that commitment to be faithful, God bless him. The same way God can bless you. So the way it works in the system that I study, when you finish medical school, there is a list of places that you need to go and serve for 1 year, you know, apart from the studies that you already did. So because I graduated first place in my class, I was going to be the first one to choose from the list of places. So what I did, I called the conference president for that area and asked him, look, from all these places, where do you need me? I'll go wherever you want me, I'll go there. He said, you know what, I need you in a place called San Felipe. You know, there's a big amount of Americans and Canadians there, and we want you we actually want to hire you to be, you know, in charge of the congregation there. And I want you to transform that into a bilingual school, church. And it was a blessing because when you're doing that year of service, man, you get paid, pennies, literally. That's right. So, it became a source of income, So yeah, that was a blessing. I became the pastor the weekend, and I became the doctor the rest of the week, So that was a big blessing. So one need I saw as I am, serving in that community, there was no education whatsoever about diabetes. So I talked to the Lions Club and this type of organizations that help communities, and told them, look, we need to do a diabetes club here. And they happily provided me glucometers. They didn't have ways to measure their glucose, these people. And also they made some giant advertisements that they put on the roads. And in that way, the word came out, and people started coming in. And sure enough, as we were educating the people there on what the best lifestyle choices they can do, we saw many cases of diabetes reversal, and became a blessing to that community.
Wow, thank you. That's really is a very a life full of action and blessings as well from God. And I know you haven't stopped. You continue to transform communities using lifestyle medicine. So as we go for a break, we will come back to actually listen more and find out how is it that you're transforming communities using lifestyle medicine, because there is a role that lifestyle medicine plays in our communities. So please do not go away. Before we went on a break, we were discussing the life journey of Dr. Eddie and how he's transforming communities through lifestyle medicine. Doctor, please finish that story.
Yes.
How are you doing this thing?
Yeah, so as I mentioned to you, I was hired, to be in charge of that church. And when I started, serving that church, I realized that one of the biggest needs of that church was actually health education. Many of them had many health problems that are, potentially reversible, or they could have been prevented if they had better choices in their lifestyle. So the Lord gave me an idea. Between, the morning program and the divine service, in between, I started giving health lectures during that time. And then the Lord gave me another idea. Why don't I invite the people of the community to come and listen to that?
To the health
So,
lecture.
because not everybody was interested in the diabetes club. So every patient I would see during the week, I tell them, look, this weekend, I'm going to talk about, cancer, heart disease, and all kinds of topics. And yeah, people started showing up, people that didn't even know that we existed, started showing up there. And they stayed for the other service and had potluck with us and so forth. And we started, making those connections there with the people from the community. And not only that, the Sunday pastor for a church, non-denominational church that was even bigger than ours, started showing up there on the health lectures.
Yes.
And he really liked it. And he was, after a couple of lectures, came to me and he was like, you need to come to my church to teach us those things. So I started going there also on Sunday to his church to tell the members about these topics. He had an American church, so it was a little bit different, the cultural approach and so forth. But the pastor was the first one to start making the changes. Very soon he switched to a plant-based diet, and soon he was off all his medications. Man, he was about on fire for these things. And he was encouraging all his congregation to make these changes. And what I did with them, I did something similar to the research that we talked about. I took blood samples from them, and then 2 weeks later, we took another blood sample, and they would try the lifestyle for 2 weeks. And sure enough, cholesterol's come down and everything. I remember one man that came and told him, look, I'm doing this because my wife told me to do it, but I actually don't want to do it. I said, look, just try it, let's see what happens. And sure enough, after 2 weeks, man, for the first time in his life, his cholesterol came down, he was losing weight, his energy came back to normal. And he came to apologize. I'm sorry that I talked to you so roughly.
Yes.
Yesterday we just went to the shelter and we donated all our food. We're gonna change completely to a plant-based diet from now on. And yeah, the stories like that. In fact, I published a paper. You can see it on the screen. That paper came out in a journal of the American Heart Association, demonstrating, what happening to their health markers of these people that were doing these 2-week things. And not only that, because these were the Americans, the people that had the money in town. I realized that I had to talk to the business people that had the food markets.
Yes.
So they were not very good food choices. This was a desert. And I talked to the businessmen, told them, look, you need to bring me some healthy things to your store. If you bring them, I'll tell the people that you have them. So he didn't really believe me. He just brought 2 or 3 things on the list that I have given him. And people came and bought those things, and they went and fought against the owner. They say, hey, the doctor said you're going to have this. How come you don't have it? Yes. Now he knew that this thing was serious, And he started stocking, his stores, with, tofu and almond milk and, plant-based yogurts and whole rice, brown rice and these type of things. Not only the stores change, even the restaurants changed. As people went to the restaurants and they were like, don't you guys have something more healthy than chicken and beef, So they started putting, brown rice with tofu and all these healthy dishes there in their menus, secondary to the fact that the people were making the changes. So in fact, that's one of the reasons why we are here this time of the year. We're going to be doing a training, teaching people how they can have some of this knowledge, go back to their communities and start creating that positive change in their communities.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor. Indeed, we can, each one of us, transform the community. I'm sure our audience here is as intrigued as I am, and I would like to ask any one of you who has a question. So yes, please go ahead and ask your question.
All right, thank you so much for quite an inspiring story. I'm learning so much from this. I'm actually passionate about community service, and I'm asking myself, is there a time probably you face some resistance from a community, especially when you're trying to change the ideologies probably to plant-based? And how do you handle that? Because there are communities probably who depend probably on animals and animal products. How do you go down to them and be able to convince them? Is that such a time you face such a rejection?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And what you need to do, you first need to agree with them. We start to agree. I have been to 85 countries on planet Earth. And I can tell you, everywhere on planet Earth, there's good things and bad things.
True.
So don't start with the bad things. Start with the good things, and try to see, how they can encourage, the usage and so forth. And the way you deal with that type of resistance, what you do, you show the scientific evidence. See, there's plenty of scientific evidence to the point, for example, in Canada, they revise their guidelines in which they tell the whole country what you should be eating. You know what they're saying, those guidelines? Basically, they're teaching you need to be on a plant-based diet.
Period.
That's what science shows. You don't want to have heart disease. You don't want to have stroke. You don't want to have diabetes. For males, you don't want to have erectile dysfunction and so forth. Well, switch to a plant-based diet. That's where the evidence is going. So by showing, from a scientific way how you can, do this type of changes and the advantages, and also what I was sharing with you, tell them to try it. Some people have a preconceived idea, I'm going to be weak and all these things. Not necessarily, as I told you, you actually become stronger. Even today, at the level of the NFL, the American football, many of them are plant-based today. Professional bodybuilders, many of them are plant-based today. Many of the boxers and fighters, they're plant-based today. So yes, that's where things are going in our world, and you can make an impact by showing people this type of approach.
Evidence-based medicine.
Thank you so much for that. But on my second question, I just want to ask, you talked about autoimmune diseases or conditions. And I'm wondering, probably they're researcher on lupus. It's a condition that affects the autoimmune.
That's right.
And what options do you have probably on the plant-based that are able to help out such? Because I haven't probably heard about that yet.
That's right. Yeah, that's actually an excellent question. And you know, if you've seen professional tennis players, there's a lady by the name of Venus, you know, she's a professional tennis player. She's in the top, you know, of the best ones in the world. She actually was struggling with an autoimmune condition. And how did she control her autoimmune condition? It was not with medication, but with a plant-based diet. You can actually Google that, and you can hear her own story. And yes, regarding lupus, you know, as I work in so many lifestyle centers, I can assure you, lupus is a condition that responds beautifully to the not only the plant-based diet, but the whole lifestyle changes that we have been talking about. So by switching to a plant-based diet, many of those autoimmune conditions calm down quite fabulous. And there's actually studies about this. I'm not just saying this, you know. I can tell you this from clinical perspective. You know, I've seen the patients at the lifestyle center, but also there is published evidence showing how one of the best approaches for anybody struggling with an autoimmune condition is a plant-based diet approach. That way, you know, the immunity comes down and the person improves. I have a good friend of mine, one last testimony. She was struggling with lupus. She already had severe damage to her kidneys, and the doctors told him, you know, you have such a severe case. We don't expect you to live too long. And she went to a lifestyle center, changed completely her diet, went to a plant-based diet, complete with the other lifestyle changes. And today, you know, we're talking about what, 30 years later, her lupus still is in remission, absolutely no problem at all.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do we have another question? Please go on.
My name's Newton. Again. You've spoken a lot on lifestyle education. Chief among them, you've mentioned dietary techniques or approaches. I'm wondering, you haven't touched much on clinical approaches as much. I'm talking needles, pills, and such. Would you recommend dietary techniques against medical pills or the clinical approaches?
Yeah. So the approach that I see and that I like to do is something that is called integrative approach. So I'm not somebody that is against medications and so forth. What I'm against is the abuse of them. You know, some of the patients, you know, are coming taking 8, 10, 15 medications, you know. Not only is it super expensive, but the side effects that these people are having is a struggle, you know. In fact, I'm preparing a manuscript of a study in which one of our patients that came to our lifestyle program, we helped him drop all his medications. And we did the mathematics. That patient today, because of the lifestyle changes, he is saving $53,000 a year of medications he no longer needs to buy.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Big.
Man, you can buy a house and I don't know what else, you know, with that money, you know. So there's a time, you know, where you do need medications, you know. For example, somebody that has, you know, complete destruction of their thyroid gland, you know, a very severe type of Hashimoto's, they need the thyroid medication. There's no way around it, you know. I would be lying to you if I told you, oh, it's seaweed or this or that. It doesn't work, you know. So there's a time for medications, but we shouldn't be dependent on that. Instead, we should empower our patients with good information so they can make better choices, and in that way, you know, have this preventive approach.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor. We have learned many things. We can be part of a community, and we can all learn to transform the communities where we live in. And the best way is through the lifestyle medicine approach. We are able to serve people. And you don't need to be a medical doctor. You can actually learn certain small things and apply them. And that's why we are inviting you. Anytime you need to learn, come to the Better Living Hospital. We have a Better Living Lifestyle Center there, and you will learn all these trainings. You will be equipped, and you are able to participate in your community where you live. If you have any questions and comments, the numbers displayed on your screen are useful for you reaching us. If you want to be part of this live audience, you're also welcome. You can always join us anytime. This discussion doesn't end. We are going into a break, and when we come back, we will be looking at some natural remedies that you can use when you're at home. Welcome to our kitchen, and we have been doing a series of Mexican dishes with Esther Juarez. She has helped us learn so many dishes, and today we have something special. What is it again?
We're gonna make almond milk and cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese. So we have almond milk and cottage cheese. Don't move. You're going to enjoy this, and you'll learn how to make it at home as well. So what do we need to make this recipe, Esther?
All right, so you need to soak 1 cup of almonds for about 8 to 24 hours.
Okay.
So for a long time. If you don't have time, you can actually boil the almonds, but it's good if they're raw. So once they're soaked and soft, you're gonna peel the almonds. So if we wanna show this,
Yes.
This has no peel anymore, so we have removed the outer, and they're very soft, so they're ready to be in the blender. So we're gonna add it to the blender with 4 cups of water.
4 cups of
So
water.
I'll give you the water. This is 2 cups.
And 2 cups of water.
And we're gonna use a cheesecloth or a cotton cloth, okay, to strain. So we'll show you how.
Do I need
2
to
more.
add anything else?
It's 4
Those
of
are
water.
2. Oh, so I need 2
So
more.
2 more.
Actually.
Yeah. 2 more. There you go. And we're gonna add 2 pieces of dates. This is optional.
Yes.
It's gonna give a little sweet flavor.
And I noticed they're not just any dates, they're pitted. You have removed
Yeah, we need to remove
the seed.
the seed, and they're high in minerals, so they have very good benefits.
Okay, so there we go.
So
All
you
right.
could add a little honey if you want, but it gives a taste of honey, so I prefer the dates. But if you don't have dates, you could add honey, and it's optional.
All right. Okay, so let's...
Okay, so we're
this.
gonna try that. Beautiful.
It should be ready now.
I think so. Beautiful.
Good.
So then we're gonna use our cheesecloth. And I love this recipe because almonds are very good for your body. They have a lot of minerals.
Yes.
And we're gonna use this as strainer. So we're gonna add the milk here.
So I point
And I'm
in.
gonna hold it, yes.
Okay.
If you have a good strainer, you could do this with a strainer. And then the leftover, so the fiber is gonna stay here in the cloth, and that's gonna be your cheese.
Oh, and that's what you
We're gonna
use.
season it, yeah, okay. Okay. Keep going.
Keep
It's
going.
okay.
Keep going. This looks really creamy already.
Okay, stop. Let's see.
Even with
Maybe,
the-
maybe if you use this spatula, allow me
Okay, to mix it up
to
a
mix
little
it.
bit. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's see.
So you want me to mix here?
Yeah, mix it a little bit.
Okay.
We need to be careful not to waste any milk. This is precious. And
Sorry.
we could add a little more water later if we
you want
think
to
it's
make
too
it-
thick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so the way we do it, we're gonna squeeze it. If you wanna put more milk,
Yes, sure.
okay,
Alright.
and then you can squeeze it like this. It's like you're milking your cows.
Yeah, it looks actually that way.
So we can add more.
Yes, let me add some more. And there's so much actually left. It has so much residue. That's why we don't want to waste.
Exactly, that's why it's good to make the cheese. So we're gonna squeeze all the milk out. You also can use a little vanilla if you like vanilla flavor.
And you put it when you're blending, or at what point
When
you
you're
add
blending it, or yeah, once it's done. Of course, you can add carrot powder. You have carrot here?
Yes, it's available in some of our health stores. Actually, they have it.
So it's good to make. You start if you like dairy. It's good to start decreasing the amount of dairy.
And this is a good option.
This is a good option. If you make a fruit smoothie, you can use this one instead of milk, cow milk.
And I'm thinking in our place here, instead of using a cheesecloth, we have a traditional certain made of straw that we actually use for squeezing coconut.
Yes.
So we can also use
So
the same thing to
any
actually squeeze
strainer,
it out. Yeah, and it will do
Excellent.
the same thing.
Yes. So I'm gonna put this in my jar right here.
Wow, it looks like it is milk.
Even
actually.
if you, yeah, we could add water, and even if we add more water and put it in the blender again, this leftover is gonna give you more milk. But because we're gonna make cheese, let's demonstrate how we make the cheese. So I'm gonna put a little low fire, and then we're gonna add a little of olive oil, and we're gonna put our
Strained.
cheese.
Yes. Yes, actually, our cheese.
This is
now.
like fresh cheese. How do you call this type of cheese? We like it with beans. You add it to your beans. Okay. So we're gonna add a little oil. Okay. And then we have nutritional yeast flake. That's gonna give the cheesy flavor. So go ahead and add it.
What are the benefits of adding the nutritional yeast
So
flake to your food?
This nutritional yeast flake has a lot of vitamins.
Yes.
So, and it has that cheesy flavor. So it's gonna give us the cheesy flavor and color, and it's rich in vitamins, especially complex B
Yes.
vitamins that are very
Which
good
you
for the
need.
nervous system, for your
Yes.
muscles.
And your moods as well.
So let's add salt,
Do we add all this, or we're going to put just
just a pinch. Actually, it's 1 teaspoon, so a little more.
than that?
Yeah.
So maybe 2 pinches.
Actually, we measured, so I think it was
All this? That would be too much.
because remember this has zero flavor, zero salt, and remember cheese usually tastes salty.
Yes.
So this is why it's gonna have 1. Okay, so let's add garlic and onion powder.
So this is garlic.
Garlic and onion powder and our lemon juice. So we keep mixing. And that's our cheese. All right, lemon juice.
We have some
That's
lemon.
gonna give the whole thing. All right. So you toast it for about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Then you can add it to any. That way you don't waste once you make milk.
Yes.
This is your cheese.
Would you do this to all kinds of plant milks that you would make, plant-based milk?
Yeah, you can make this type of dish. Just toast it. You can toast when you make soybeans. You can
Yes.
toast the soybeans, the leftover.
If you do almonds, you can also toast the leftover.
Yes.
Would you use this maybe for something like maybe meatballs, soy meatballs
Yes,
or things like that?
Yes.
All right.
So-
So it has many more benefits than actually.
You want to try the milk?
Sure.
Let's see. Look at that beautiful color.
Yes, it looks great. And the color is white.
Really nice. Cheers.
Cheers.
Delicious.
I like it. It's really nice and fresh. It's very thick as well.
Yes.
very
If you
nice.
like it thick, or if you want to add more water.
I'm trying this tonight.
Very nutritious.
Yes. And for people with allergies, this is what they want to try. You don't need to eat. If you have lactose intolerance, plant-based milk.
Plant-based milk.
Very yummy milk. I love milk. And this is a good option for me. So thank you, Esther, for helping me know how to make it even in a better way. You want to know how to make this? Check it on our website, www.lisheleo.com. You want to know what we have made in the past? Check on our Hope Channel YouTube storage where we do it, and we do it in our YouTube channel, Hope Channel Kenya. Our Twitter handle and the number displayed on your screen is a good place for you to always talk back to us. You want to be in the kitchen? Come and join us. We would always love to have you there. Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you for being part of this journey, the Mexican dishes. We've really enjoyed. We hope to see you soon. Now, what more can we do with this? Do we taste this, or what do I use this for?
You want to taste? Let's taste this. See how good.
I have a spoon here, so I can just have a little bit of it.
So let's see. Tell me if it needs more salt or that was good. Is
Very
it
nice.
yummy?
I have an idea where I'm going to add it. In some of the dishes that we prepare like rice, you can actually add this.
Yes.
And it will taste great. Thank you. Very good. Come join us and let's learn how to make these dishes. For now, it's goodbye.